think they should give like younger people lessons to know what they're doing with that.
Yeah.
Just, you know, you never know what's going to happen. If you need to handle a gun and, you know, for your own safety, not even to kill somebody with it, it's not to shoot yourself in the stomach or shoot your buddy because you don't know how to take it off safety or whatever, right? But that same danger that I felt when I've seen people do heroin, or I've seen it around, like they'll pull out a bag or whatever, that same type of danger that I felt the first time I held a gun is that, and I'm like, I can't even. And if none of my friends, you know, literally nobody that I know like openly would just do heroin. Like, I don't know, but I think it's a different time in comedy now too, because people don't really openly do coke the way that they used to.
No.
It is very behind.
And I'm very proud of that.
Yeah,
I'm very happy that.
Well, it's a business now.
Comedians are not thinking this is the fucking. You know, when I came up, I was paying attention to Pryor, and I was paying attention to Candice, and I liked the stories.
Yeah.
That gave me the green
rock
light
and
to
roll.
act like a fucking asshole
Yeah,
than I
yeah.
was with drugs at the store and shit like that. It gave me the green light. But if somebody came up to me, bro, if you're a comic, stick with the fucking reefer. You know, man, reefer, you want a couple beers. Anything else? When you get fucked up, the comedy world knows about it. Now you gotta go to AA and shit.
Well, that's the other thing is they, I think because everyone's on Facebook and Twitter and everyone, it feels like everything's very naked. Like as soon as somebody, whatever it is, you know, fucking somebody beats somebody in a roast battle or somebody gets into an argument in the comedy scene, it just travels very fast. So I feel like people aren't as willing to openly come out and go, oh yeah, I do blow, because even if people aren't going to go and tweet that or put it on social media, people still kind of feel that there's not the same sense of secrecy that there was, you know, years ago. I saw comedy almost 13 years ago. So even in that time, it just jumped. It's a very open scene and everybody talks.
Well, I grew up very, very in the suburbs. So to me, anyone talking about coke is strange to me. It is imprinted in my brain. But like I know people who do coke. I don't think I probably know somebody who's done heroin, but I don't know anybody I don't know anybody who like actively does heroin. You know, like I know you've done it, Joey, a couple times, but like I feel like coke, even though people don't, it's not like weed how it's accepted, but I think coke is more accepted than
heroin. Yeah, it's more accepted than heroin.
None of it's accepted anymore. Not in this society. Yeah. It's not open. You don't go to a club and somebody goes, "Oh, if you want to use the bathroom, there's a mirror." Those days are over with. Those days are long gone.
I think it is in LA. I think there's some
no.
people here
I
who do
went
it
when
like
I went
that.
to New York in '93. I was in shock. I went on a date and I went to a club and I wanted the thing to take a package out and the guy goes, "Don't even think about it. Don't even fucking think about it." And I go, "Bro, I used to do. That was 10 years ago." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Really? Yeah, no." That's not accepted in New York by any
I got
means.
kicked out probably five or 6 years ago. I got kicked out of a bar because I was sitting on a toilet facing the opposite direction. Okay, like straddling the toilet, and the guy thought I was doing coke. I was rolling a blunt actually, and I just happened to be sitting that way. But I guess from his angle, you know, whatever it was, you know, it was a security guard, and they kicked me out and very aggressively.
Did you have your pants on?
Yeah, I had my pants on.
Okay.
Well, imagine if my pants were down. What a weird position to be sitting on the toilet. Nobody straddles it that way.
That's what I was gonna. I thought that was gonna be your cover.
Yeah. Well, that was probably the move.
When I was doing coke, I knew you knew that I was doing coke, but because the type of person I was, you weren't gonna say nothing to me. I would talk about it on stage, so you had nowhere to go with it.
Right.
When people started telling me, there's rumors you do coke, I said, fuck it. I'll shut these bitches down. So
I'll just be open.
To go.
Well, that's how you fucking own it.
And that was it.
Anything.
And nobody ever really approached me.
That's brilliant.
Every once in a while, Rogan would say something to me on a plane. I would go, drop it, bro.
Yeah.
Don't even talk about it. That's my fucking problem. And that was it. Nobody ever really. You just assumed. And
Well, nobody that's doing coke regularly is going like it's not a problem. Anybody who's doing coke regularly,
it's a problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem. Anything that you're doing regular like that is a fucking problem. It becomes.
I mean, yeah, really, any drug,
problem.
even weed for me.
Even weed. Even the
Yeah, I smoke weed every day. It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Here's when it's not a problem. If you truly don't need to, if you can go a few days, I'm like, hey, I'm going to take a few days off just to relax, you know, get my head straight, I'm going to write some shit, whatever, and it's not a thing at all for you, I don't think weed's a problem. But for me to take one day off even, if I was like, I'm not going to smoke weed, I got an audition, I really want to focus, that's a big problem. I am in a state where I go, if I have an audition, I have to smoke weed so I feel more like myself, you know? And I think that's not good. That's like true.
I liked all that stuff. I could go without like now. I like that stuff.
I'm a fan of all the things you just said.
Yeah, no. Listen, you know how many times I've gotten an audition? As insecure as this sounds, you call me, you go, I have an audition. You send me the audition, I download it, I print the pages, it's 4 pages. I look at the 2 scenes, I look at it again, Now I take those 2 pages, I put them aside, and I go to my notebook.
You put weed in them, you roll it up, you smoke them.
No. I write the date of the audition, the time, the casting director, the director. I even IMDb the director and see what style of movies he's done before. I do all that work, and then I take the 2 scenes and I break them down sober. Then I disappear for an hour. You know what I'm saying? And you think about what's going on, and then you burn a fucking good one. Like you actually go get a new batch of weed, even though you got a batch there. Go get a new batch.
Yeah.
And you go get that and bring that home. Now you smoke it, and you start saying the audition out loud in the room, and you could see the color, and then start acting it out. What would you do when you walk in the room? You're just not going to walk in the room and go, Joey, wake up. You're going to turn the light on. Hit the switch. Live the fucking whole thing. Because that's when you go to the audition and you fuck them up. When you start flipping switches and bending over and capturing, that's when they're like, oh, this motherfucker did the work.
Almost like... It's not even just the weed. I think what that is just changing whatever variable it is, right?
Right.
Because I did this the other day. I did that roast battle show, and I had to memorize my jokes, and I went in the steam room, and I just had them all written out, and I memorized my jokes in the steam room, and because it was getting hot, I'm sweating, and it's kind of hard to concentrate. I feel like it made me memorize my jokes, number one, differently. I was looking at them different. I wasn't like... You know what I'm saying? Like it really, and I was also high too. So, but it was also like, I just feel like you're kind of just changing something. People do people do naked shows in comedy, right? Where they get naked and do their jokes. Some people think it's stupid. I think it's kind of an interesting thing because if you're doing your jokes and there's this extreme thing where you're super self-conscious, embarrassed, whatever it is, and you still go up and you're trying to kill, there's something interesting about that exercise. There's something interesting about kind of like challenging yourself and also performing your jokes in that way. You're never going to go that far. You know what I'm saying? You're never going to get that experience. So who knows where you're going to go with that joke or something you might say that you would never say in a million years. So I think it can be valuable.